class period today to work on homework. A lot of people are struggling with the first assignment. If you've been struggling with the first assignment, please stay and get help. You're definitely not alone. I know that some of the problems are really confusing. But another option is try the second one. The second one is a little bit simpler. It's a little bit more focused on just solving those cross multiplication problems. And a lot of people, when they go do that and then come back, they're having more success. So if you haven't already tried the second assignment, at least please do that today. And then there will be a new assignment for today, which should also be not too terribly bad. So this is what we're working on. If you are taking notes, please follow along. This is just going to be, we're going to start out with an example problem, and it's going to be a few slides long, so you don't necessarily need to write all of this down if you are taking notes. If you're not taking notes, just make sure you're paying attention. So let's say that you and a friend have 15 slices of pie to share. I'm going to pick on Addie and Janie because they always pick on me. So Addie and Janie are sharing 15 slices of pie. It's kind of a lot of pie to eat at once, but that's all right. They can handle it. But Addie, being super greedy, wants 3 slices of pie for every 2 slices that Janie gets. We want to figure out how many slices each of them is going to get of this pie. Now, doing this takes a couple of steps. With a problem like this one, you might be able to just look at the numbers and figure it out. It's not necessarily going to be too terribly difficult. But now I'm confused. Why am I confused? Also, who was it that just came in? Hold on. Sorry, guys. Luis, okay. Cool. So, yes, so like I said, this one you can probably figure out pretty quick. You can either do guess and check, or you can just do the ratios. But we want to go over the mathematical way to solve this problem, and that's a little bit more complicated. So when you get in some of the bigger numbers, it's going to be a little bit more simple to do. So to start out, we need to figure out how many parts are in our ratio. Our ratio is 3-2. We have 3 slices of pie for Addie for every 2 slices of pie for Janie. So you've got a 3-2 ratio here. To solve for the number of parts, all we have to do is add up both sides, right? So if you think about like how we're going to distribute this, we're going to give 2 slices to Janie, and then we're going to give 3 slices to Addie, right? So that's a total of 5 slices. We're just adding those up. So we get 5 parts. And that's kind of how much we're distributing each round that we're distributing these, in this case, slices of pie. So we have 15 slices of pie at a 3-2 ratio, and we know that the total number of parts is 5. So now what we want to do is figure out how many times we actually have to pass out those 5 slices of pie. To do this, we divide our total number of slices that we have, which is 15, by the number of parts in our ratio, which is 5. So in this case, we'll have 15 divided by 5, which is, of course, 3. So this means that we have 3 rounds of passing out pie. So it's going to be 3 different times that we say, all right, here's 2 slices of pie for Janie and 3 slices of pie for Addie. Let me check. A couple more people just came in. Those of you that came in a little bit late, I can go back over this after we're done. And also the video recording will be posted. Who was it? Gracie's here. Solon Taven. Okay. Also, guys, I know you're coming from lunch, but please try to get here a little closer to on time. Most of you are like 5 minutes late at this point. So in this case, we have 3 rounds of pie. So we're going to give Janie 2 slices and then Addie 3 slices, and we're going to end up doing that 3 times. So from there, it's pretty easy to figure out how many slices each person gets. All we have to do is multiply our ratio by our number of rounds, which in this case is 3, and we get it. So we have 3 rounds of pie slices. We know that the ratio is 3-2, which means person A, or in this case Addie, gets 3 times 3, or 9 slices of pie. Janie, poor innocent non-greedy Janie, is getting 3 times 2, which is 6 slices of pie. And then to double check our answer, we can add up. Tristan, turn your volume up. We can add up the number of slices to double check and make sure it's the same as what we started with. So we add up 6 plus 9, we get our 15. That's how much we started with at the beginning. All right, so that's a really, really long and complicated example. Let's look at the steps of actually doing this. So these are the things that you want to write down if you're going to write them up. Write them out. Write them down. Am I quiet for everybody, or is it just Tristan that's having a problem? Okay, so Tristan, your headphones might be burnt out. I'm not sure. Yeah, Jasmine's saying I'm loud, so I don't want to yell into my computer. I'm not sure if it's an audio problem on your end or what. So anyway, step one is to add up the sides of the ratio to determine the number of parts. Step two, divide the total number, so the original quantity, by the number of parts in the ratio. Step three, multiply each side of the ratio by the number you calculate in step two. Oops, sorry. So these are the three different things that you want to write down. So in our original case, we were dividing 15 into a ratio of 3 to 2. So first thing, step one, we add up the sides of our ratio. So we have 3 and 2 equals 5. And that tells us the number of parts in our ratio. So this is step one. Step two, we're going to divide the total number, so the original quantity, which is 15 in this case, by the number of parts. So that's what we just calculated here. That's 5. To get the number of rounds, or the number of different times that we're going to be passing out these, in this case, slices of pie, but in general, the number of times we're going from, or we're distributing into our ratio. And then we multiply each side of the ratio by the number we calculated in step two. So we get 3 here. So we're going to take the first side, 3 times 3, and the second side, 2 times 3. So we get 9 and 6. Okay. I'll give you guys a few more seconds to write this one down, and then we're going to do some example problems on the next slide. And then that's all I've got for you guys that's new today. So we'll be able to get out of here kind of quick. Those of you that came in late, first of all, please try to be here on time coming after lunch. It shouldn't be hard to get here on time. And I can get you the notes that you missed, or we could go over this stuff after we're done. Okay. Does anybody need more time on this slide? Okay, no worries. I'll double check attendance to make sure got everybody that's here. Okay, cool. You could take a screenshot or a picture, but writing things down is better. Better to get in good habits, Jasmine. But anyway, all right, let's move on to our examples. So I do want all of you guys to try these ones on your own. This is basically what you're going to be seeing on the homework. There's some word problems and stuff too, but this is the majority of what we're doing today. So the first one asks how many parts are in the ratio 14 to 5? And then B and C are doing the whole problem. So we're asking what is 21 divided into the ratio of 3 to 4? So how many, you can write your answer as either just two separate numbers separated by a comma, or you can do them as a ratio itself. And then the next one is what is 66 divided into the ratio of 5 to 6? So follow the steps that you wrote down for B and C. For part A, you're just trying to do the number of parts. So this one is only step 1 from before. B and C will be all 3 steps. So I'm going to give you guys a couple minutes to work on this, and then I will walk through them. As you go, I just want to mention again, for those of you that are late, if you haven't already done the homework from yesterday, please try that one. The assignment number 2 is a little bit shorter than assignment number 1. If you've been struggling on the first assignment, please stick around after class and I can help you, or Barb can help you. We can get you through some of it because a lot of people are having some trouble with it. So I'd like to make sure that everybody gets the help they need with it. Addie, that is the number of rounds, but we want to know how much each one is going to be worth. Jasmine, I'm not sure which one you're doing. So part A should only have a single number as the answer. Part B, your answer should either be one number, say x comma y, or x to y. And then C should be the same. Addie, Jeannie, you're kind of on the right track, but not quite. So for right now, a lot of people are for some reason skipping to B. Focus on A first. How many parts are in the ratio of 14 to 5?
I don't get what that part means though. Like the other ones I understand, but that one I do not.
Okay, so step one, right? Jasmine, that's the point of doing the practice right now, is because it's confusing. So step one is to add up the sides of the ratio to determine the number of parts. So we want to figure out how many parts are in the ratio of 14 to 5. So we're going to just add up the two sides of the ratio. So all we have to do here to figure out how many parts there are, 14 to 5, 14, oops, why can't I write? 14 plus 5, which is 19. So there are going to be 19 parts here. And basically what this means is if we were dividing something up, let's say we had a piece or a pizza, right? And you were dividing it up so that one person gets 5 slices for every 14 that the other person gets. You have to divide it into 19 parts, right? So what we're asking when we're looking at the ratio is just how many parts are in each one. And then for B, I'll go over it in just a second because it looks like it's still confusing people quite a bit. Okay. Are people working on B, or do you guys want me to go over it? I'm getting no answers. Addie, Janie, both good. That is correct. It's because I used you two in the pi example. You got the power of the math. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and talk about B. I'll let you guys all try C on your own. So we're going to, again, go back to here. We're just going to follow our steps. So step one, we're going to add up the sides of our ratio. So our ratio is 3 to 4. So 3 plus 4 equals 7. So this tells us the number of parts. So that's step one. This is not the answer. I'm just doing or boxing the answer to each step. Part two is to take the original quantity, which is 21, and divide it by the number of parts. So that's 7. This will give us 3. 3 is the number of rounds we have. So this is the number of times we're distributing our ratio. At the end, all we have to do is multiply. We're going to take the first number in the ratio, 3, multiply that by 3, we get 9. And we're going to take 4, which is the second number in our ratio, multiply it by 3 as well, and we'll get 12. So our final answer should be 9 to 12. So this 3 right here, this one is coming from my answer to part 2. So this is step 3, by the way. So try going through it step by step on C. Addie, Janie, that is also correct for C. I want everybody to at least give this a shot. If you can't figure it out, then let me know where you're getting stuck. So everybody should at least be saying something. Just let me know if you don't get what you're doing, then let me know if you're stuck on step 1, 2, or 3. Sawyer and Jasmine, you have those flipped, but that's correct. Tristan, you've got the right number of parts on the second side, but that's not the final answer. Yeah, that's correct, Jasmine. You're on the right track. You've kind of finished step 1, Tristan. Dakota, yes, good. Awesome, Dakota. So Charlotte, try to go through at least step 1. So step 1 is to add up the parts of our ratio, or add up the 2 sides of our ratio to figure out how many parts. Still a whole bunch of people that haven't tried this yet. So Tristan, follow the steps that you should have written down, or at least taken a picture of. Step 2, divide your initial quantity by the total number of parts. And step 3, multiply that by each side of the ratio. Okay, we're going to talk about it in just a second, don't worry. Still missing responses from a lot of people though. Tristan, if you want to, you'll have time right now if you want to leave the call and then come back in. See if that helps reset your audio. Why were you saying no you to me, Sawyer? Okay. So let's see. I'm still missing responses from like 16 of you. So Brody, are you stuck or did you get it? Carmen, Dawn, Emma, Aya, Gracie, Luis, Jessica, Ryan, Sawyer, Sol, Taven. Jasmine, no, wait until class is done. We're almost done. That was so many M's. Why? Okay, so I'm going to start walking through this. You guys need to be paying attention, especially if you're confused. So, going back to the steps. If you haven't written these down and you need to, stay after class and I'll give them to you. But add up the sides of the ratio to determine the number of parts. So, come on. Looking at, well, C. So, step 1, we're going to add up the sides of our ratio. This is our ratio, 5 to 6. So, we have 5 plus 6 equals 11. So we have 11 parts. That's step 1. Step 2 is to divide the total number, which is the original quantity, by the number of parts. So our original quantity is 66. That's right here. We're going to divide that by our number of parts, which we just calculated as 11. So we have step 2 is 66 divided by 11 equals 6. So that means that with this quantity, we're dividing it out. We're giving 6 rounds of distributing it in this ratio. Then, Tristan, can you please stop spamming the chat with letters? Trying to see if people are understanding. And then step 3, we multiply each side of the ratio by this number that we just calculated, this 6. So we have 5, which is the first part of our ratio, that's the one on the left, times 6 equals 30. And we have 6 times 6, ignore that, equals 36. So our final answer is 30 to 36. Or if we wanted to, we could say that person A got 30 and person B got 36, whichever way you want to think about it. So the last thing that we have here, hopefully that helps clear it up a little bit. Actually, I'll give you guys a second to write this down if you're taking notes still. So are there any questions, or at least, I guess, if you aren't sure what you're doing, which step is the most confusing for people? I feel like a lot of people just aren't trying it, but. Nobody's saying anything.
Awkward silence.
Pretty much. So does that mean everybody's good? Everybody's got it? All right, cool. Then let's try another story problem. This one's a little bit more complicated. A large tank of gas contains 3 liters of helium for every 12 liters of oxygen. How many liters of each one? How many liters of each gas are in the tank if it contains a total of 300 liters of gas? So first thing we want to do here is write out our ratio. What is our ratio? Can anybody tell me?
3 to 12.
It is 3 to 12. Good. So we've got our ratio. Now, step 1, what do we do?
Add them together.
Yep. 3 plus 12 equals 15. What's step 2?
Divide by 300.
Other way around, divide 300 by 15. But yeah. So we're going to take our our total quantity, which is 300 right here. We're going to divide it by 15 because that's how many parts we have. So we just solved that here. 300 divided by 15, you can plug that into a calculator. I don't care if you use calculators on this stuff. That's going to be 20. So we have 20 rounds. So how do we figure out how much helium is in the tank?
Times it by the 3.
Yep. So we're going to do 20, which is the number we just got, times 3 equals 60. So we have 60 liters of helium. And how do we figure out the oxygen? Oops.
12 times 3. Or 20 times 12.
It's going to be 20 times 12. So again, we're using this number and we're multiplying it by that part of the ratio. 20 times 12, which is 240 liters of oxygen. And you'll notice if we wanted to, we could double check to make sure this works. We have 60 plus
Wait.
240.
Don't erase it. Let me take a picture of that because I'm very confused with ratios and stuff. Let me take a picture of that. Hold on.
Okay, that's fine. So this is right here is just us double checking our answer. We've got 60 plus 240. That does equal 300, which is what we started with. So we know that we got the answers correct. So we'd have 60 liters of helium and 240 liters of oxygen. Okay, so please go ahead and try the homework assignment for today. If you haven't already done yesterday's assignment,